Oh, you can lead a horse to water, but it'll cost $100 for a half hour to get it wet. My name's Bret, and this is After DARKRAI, a no holds barred, no nothing podcast where we talk about Pokemon and hurt the ones we love. And baby, we love everyone. Again, my name's Bret, and that one there is not Gracie. That one is Lane. Lane, welcome.
Well, this is my first time here, and does Gracie just didn't want to talk to me?
She
Is that
didn't
the
want
like?
Well, no,
I get it.
actually she just didn't want to talk to me, is what it was.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Gracie is out for this week. She'll
Yep.
be back soon. We love you. We love you, and we're in love with you, Gracie. Please marry us. Lane, welcome to the show. Now, you're just a stranger that I black bagged over your head and tossed you in the van, drove you all the way to West Virginia, and you're now in my clearly professional, not at all my home, professional podcast recording studio. Get your bearings about you.
Oh, yeah. See, Kentucky wasn't too far away, so the drive was fine. Like
Yeah.
the bag, it was like the smelling the different places, and I'm like, why are we going over this bridge? Oh, okay. I see.
I
Where we're
said,
going.
I crept up on you and I said, this guy smells like he knows what Pokemon is. I'll just have him. And funny enough, you have your own Pokemon show.
I do.
You real quick want to tell us and our listeners about yourself and that their show.
Yeah, so my name is Lane. The show is Good
Hi,
Morning
Lane.
Johto. Oh, hey, the
Good
show's a
morning.
little different. Oh, yes, like that's the Good Morning. I do a Monday through Friday, so 5 days a week, morning fake radio show.
It's
So
a real fake radio show.
that's
How
what
dare
I
you.
tell people. It's
Give
fake in
yourself
the
some credit.
sense is it takes place in a fictional Pokemon land, but then every single day, which when I'm making the show is, man, does Pokemon have news every day? And guess what? They do. Or enough in 3 days to break down. So yeah, so Good Morning Johto is my labor of love. I have a radio past. It may come through a little bit. I never think it does, but I get different vibes from people. And yeah, so I'm just a morning radio host and giving you Pokemon news.
That definitely comes through, because when I listen to your show, I literally, I told you this. I think I told you this when we were on your show, me and Gracie. That's right. Check it out. Is that your show sounds so professional? I'm like, wow, this guy sounds like he's had experience being a radio host before, not just some bum in West Virginia just flipping on a switch on his microphone and talking a bunch of bullshit into a microphone for an hour. It was really impressive. So good job.
Well, thank you so much. And that's the funny part is all the guys that I learned in like part of the West Virginia like Radio Hall of Fame. That's where I learned it all from. So I learned it from all West Virginia radio bums. That there is an actual ceremony. There's an actual I think near you is a radio museum for physical radios, and they do radio auctions.
News to me. I knew there was a radio
It's a
station
thing.
in the town that I
Yep.
live, like Rock 105. Uh-oh, now people are going to find me.
They're
Rock
going to dox
105
you.
is literally right down the street. So I prefer X 1063.
Yeah, like see that the voices they teach you the pukey voices, all the different stuff like that. But yeah, like all the guys I learned from were actually West Virginia guys.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh well, what radio thing can I do? I'm like, well, all these Pokemon shows go very long, right? Some of them can go very long. It's a different thing. People like cheesy. You and I both like cheesy
I love
ads. Doing
cheese. Yeah.
love some good cheese.
Oh, no. How dare you? This is a very serious, informative news broadcast that I perform every week for the dear listener. No holds barred, no nothing means. Wait, no holds barred means that we get to the bottom of the truth at any cost, at any means necessary. And then no nothing means I don't know shit.
I wanted to make the show for people that drove in the morning, cup of coffee, real quick, 10 minutes in and out, get it done. But then someone told me, it's like, oh yeah, you did it for Daily Adventure, didn't you? I'm like, that's exactly what I did it for. I did have this thing I've never used really before in my career that's perfectly timed for this thing.
What great synergy.
Yeah,
was totally on purpose.
Totally on purpose. Wasn't even
the genius. Like the invention of rubber, you spilled two things together and made a product that is now indispensable from our daily lives.
It's so, yeah, like, because that's what too is I do record it almost every single day. It is something that going down, getting it ready, getting the show together, getting the radio studio stuff. altogether. But yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different, to be honest, and I love it. I've been doing it now. Gosh, I haven't been doing it too long. So this is month 3. So December to January, February. Oh no, yeah. So counting on my hands.
So a pretty new enterprise.
Yeah, we're very new. And yeah, so I think you guys were even on in my first month of the show that I did, because I wanted to go to the shows. It's not normally what works, but you go to the shows you listen to, and be like, hey, I'm a nobody, know nothing little guy. Help me, please, Dad. And that's exactly that's what happened. But yeah,
I'm
like the show.
Boy, first of all. Second of all, I just want to point out we beat Chris from GoCast, so take that.
Take that, Chris. Like that. You're too busy in Vegas. Well, we're in West Virginia.
Remind me, did we beat DeFi or did we just squeak in behind her?
I think you were 1 week behind. Maybe.
Oh, maybe DeFi. She's got her.
Who knows my own show? You talk about professional. Most professional person I've ever. Nope, you made it before. You guys were January 6th.
Oh, yes, let's go.
First,
DeFi.
you were before. But that was the most professional. DeFi, that's...
DeFi, friend of the show, one of our earliest guests, I think, as well. I don't know what you're talking about with professional. She curses like an absolute sailor.
Really? I see.
Oh my gosh.
I got pure Pokemon, like, hello, how would you like that? Like, very play Pokemon. Maybe that's like what you said is like some of my fake professionalism rubbed off.
I think it was a different time, back then, DeFi was still up and coming, and now she's this huge star. She wears like fur from the most.
You got the image, baby. You got the image to hold up.
Yeah, she's got the Cruella de Vil going on. She's murdered 100 puppies to make her coat, and she's just a rock star everywhere she walks into the room. And she can't be bothered with little small time shows like After DARKRAI anymore. She can't be bothered to say the F-bomb like 50 times anymore. She's above it now. She's
only Chris can, because he's the Grand Poobah. Well,
Chris is like, so this hasn't happened to me, but have you ever had a tick or familiar with a tick?
We live in wooded areas, so yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, Chris is so embedded in Pokemon at this point that I think there's just no way to remove him.
You and I have the same reaction, because I think you may have recorded, like, you and I, that's why our Pokemon Go careers are similar. And he asked you about fast catching, and you and I were both like, "No, sir. Like, we know about it, but I don't care enough to learn it." So I learned it that weekend,
and it flew out of the other end of my brain, and I immediately forgot how to do it.
It's one of those things. It's like you want to take this game that you take semi-seriously, but not really, and then you do it, and you're like, "Oh, this is the next level." And I did it for a community day just to try it, and now it's just like it's wild. It is a wild thing.
By the way, Chris, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to infer that you were a parasite.
You are a parasite within the leg that is Pokemon.
I should have said that he has Pokemon tenure at this point. You just can't get him up out the paint no more.
Chris is there to stay, and like that's the knowing all the tips and tricks, and like that's what everybody talks about is like a good community for probably you and me is like 10, 15. And he's like, I'm catching hundreds.
Yeah. But that's why I thought you lived in some big urban, sprawling, cyberpunk night city fucking hellscape.
Not New York, not in he just knows what to do. I asked, that was on my show, is like, how do you do it? And it was, I go to a park and I go in a circle. Like I'm like, that's dedication.
That's like when we had Ken on, Ken Pescatore from Lured Up. My first question was him was podcast. How do it?
How do? When you and I talked, it was, hello, Lane, how are you? I'm like, how do Discord? How do technology work?
And you know what, real quick, and on a very serious note, like this whole ecosystem, or this whole brotherhood, personhood of Pokemon content creators and podcasts and various shows, just kind of throwing each other over each other's shoulders and just carrying each other around from point A to point B and teaching each other about things like, oh, hey, I heard this thing, like you should try this, or like,
Yeah.
I heard this thing's over here. It's really become a resource that's invaluable to putting on shows like this and having great guests like yourself on.
Ooh, well, it's really why I came to Pokemon, because I'm not gonna lie, I tried other games before. I did like a couple wrestling podcasts because I was a wrestler for a little bit. I did like Magic, I did all these different stuff, and it just was really hard to get into the community. And Pokemon, which is bigger than most things, has this incredible, like, you and I talk on a regular basis about almost not podcasting. Like,
Right.
it's
We can
random
bullshit for hours on
Correct.
just talking anything other than Pokemon.
Correct. And with all the other shows is when I bring them on before, like when I had through the other games, is like, okay, who are you? Why do I care about you? What's part of you? Like, why do I care? And then now these shows, like you said, like, we all know each other. I've been only doing this 3 months. And all the people that, this is a wrestling term for Mark, like all the people that I was a fan of is now like, we all talk to each other on a basis, which is weird now that I think about it, because where we are has a weird giant wrestling fan. Like, it's like independent backyard wrestling is West Virginia bred. But yeah, like you're right. Like, this is how all these shows build off of each other.
So in thinking about like how these other shows have kind of like helped bring us up in different ways, I couldn't help but think, I was like, who was my first guest? And like, we went for a long time here without even a guest, because I started this show. When Taylor got the idea for this show, I was like,
and then you stole it. Yep.
I was like, a Pokemon podcast. That's a good idea. I wonder if anybody else has thought of doing a Pokemon podcast. But then I found a way that I was like, okay, if we do this, I want to do it this way because no one else is doing it exactly like this.
Yeah.
But I was introduced to the community at large by Pokemon Go Radio. Rest in peace, rest in power, PGR. You were missed. But the boys, Salt and R, they were our first ever guests on the show.
Do you think that ended to their demise?
Probably started the ticking on the time bomb that imploded the show and turned.
They jumped the shark with After Darkrai.
Yeah. And they're like, we can't do this anymore. After Darkrai tainted everything. We got to change this around and make it into bonus episode.
Well, you said it perfectly. Is we almost all cover the same stuff, but we can list 5 shows and we're all different, right?
Right.
You guys had a half an hour or close to 45-minute show last couple weeks. That's almost a week of me, right? And then you got these PvP shows covering the same news that are 3-4 hours long. Like, there's so many of us, but you can get different information.
I like to think that we're
ways.
the only Pokemon show that's doing improv comedy, Halloween, Christmas, and award show specials.
You guys are a Pokemon. When I asked, I may have asked you guys on the show, because it's like, what would you say your show is? Because you're Pokemon Go, but kinda, but not really. But then you improv. You know what I mean? Like, you are everything and nothing. All. What's that movie you talked about on?
I like
Everything
that.
All at Once, or like
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's what you are.
Pokemon After Darkrai: Everything Everywhere All at Once and Nothing.
Because if you say you're a Pokemon Go show, like, you and I, extremely casual. I'd maybe never hit 50. I may be 6 foot under before I hit 50. And then
same.
You and I both listen to Gracie PvP. Like, oh yeah, that sounds great. You're the best.
Yeah.
For
my
you.
eyes roll into the back of my head like a great white shark.
Sure.
And I go into a tonic state of unbeing when she's trying to explain. You don't understand. When I catch things that I think, or I check the stats on, I'm like, maybe this is good for PvP.
Yeah, this is cool.
I'll send a screenshot to Gracie, and I swear to God, I can hear her laughing from Kansas or wherever she's at.
You're like, oh man, like, you think you're like the one that invented fire. Like, I just came up with a great idea, and then.
I really think she's tired of answering PvP questions for me.
It's really, like, for me, it's one of those things I want to learn. It's just there.
It's hard. It's the simplest.
Typing is why I play card games, is because they tell you the typing's on the Pokemon cards. So, but for PvP, too many things going on.
What's your favorite type to play in the TCG?
Right now, I've been playing a lot of Rotom. So electric is big right now.
Okay.
Rotom is gimmicky, just very gimmicky.
Mm-hmm. I love gimmicks.
It is. So you're playing a lot of tools, and the tools don't even matter. Rotom's just doming people to tools. Honestly, it's not a type. It's like what there's a Giratina deck. That's cool. It's honestly like whatever Pokemon I like at the time, and then
yeah, I hear you. I've been playing the fighting type a lot.
Yeah, Urshifu, you've been fooing it up.
No, God, no. I only play with the cards that I have.
Oh yeah,
I'm not made of money. It's actually my main deck is a pre-constructed deck that I then reconfigured with other cards that I had that are better, and I swap things in and out. But I like it. It's fun. It's
you opening cards to me is what reminds me of the old sketch, Old Greg. Like, you like this? This is good. You like this thing? You like this? Like, that's what when you're opening, showing your rainbow trainers and everything. You're like, I got this. This is a thing. This is good. Like, yes.
I had to trade. My son got a trick or treat pack and got a fancy Darkrai in it. And I'm like,
yeah.
You got to give that to me. And
I think you're trading with a child. Like I know parents that I know that have separate collections.
I had to trade with a 10-year-old. He's like, "What are you going to give me for it?" And so I got a big stack of cards. And I was like, "Pick something out." And he picked something out, and I got me a Darkrai. I think he got a foil Volcanion.
That's you sound like you're going to be at the school when this playground. Yeah, you're going to go to the playground at these schools. And try to trade cards to blend in with these. That's what I always try to teach kids is like
he's the wheeler and dealer at school. I'm just kicking around the house. Real quick, what's your favorite color of Magic to play? Magic the Gathering.
Probably I like green.
Hold on before you answer. I
already answered.
I was gonna say it's gonna tell the audience that knows anything about Magic a lot about you. So you like big creatures.
I like green. I usually play 5-color. I just like weird stuff.
5-color commander.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Yeah. Green's really fun in Magic.
5-color is hard in a 60.
I'll tell you what. I got really deep into history at 14 years old. The power went out at one of my cousin's house. I'm like, hey, can you just teach me that stupid game? Like, I need time to kill, and I've been nonstop. Like that has been. I'm now like showing my age. 13 years into it. Nice. And it's like not, and then Pokemon, different games have came and gone that I've liked. But yeah, like that's the.
I'll tell you my favorite color to play. And you're gonna.
It's gonna be red.
What kind of? I could see why you would think that. But
yeah, I thought you'd be red.
Well, that's not correct. The actual answer, I counter your assumption there with mono blue control.
Really, I would have never thought that.
Oh yeah, There's just some. Well, think about it. There's something about trolling people and just countering every single thing they play every turn and bouncing things back to their hand. That's just so satisfying.
You're gritty. Like you're just such an evil person. Like
I don't have a counter spell in my hand and they play something very warily. And I'm like, guess I'll let that go through this time.
And you can even say that and your hand could be all nothing and be like,
it's just nothing but islands. And you're like, whatever.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And that's what we're talking with you and I really hitting it off last time is like, I like cards a lot and I like playing the card games, but every single regional tournament so far has had like the same tournament results. And it's just been Lugia over and over and over, but they won't do anything because the Scarlet and Violet comes out in like a month and a half. Yeah. So Pokemon Go's kind of carrying the show. It's going to be crazy. They're going to do, of course, like a bunch of nuts stuff. The silver border and stuff is cool.
I was gonna say I got the
partner Paldea box.
Yeah, and it comes with the 3 starter Pokemon and the beautiful silver borders. Beautiful.
I think they're doing it because Magic's the only game that lets other languages work. Like you can play cards from all the different languages.
You can play Japanese. You can play Phyrexian.
That actually added as a language now on them.
I have a couple of I have a Phyrexian Planeswalker, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this card does. I don't want to play with this card just because I have to Google it every time I play it.
I had someone. What did someone think it was? French. I had someone believe they're like, what is this language? I'm like, it's made up, man. Like it's a made up language. But I think that's what Pokemon and these other companies are trying to like let the other ones, or they just want to switch to silver border because they're bored and want to make money. I don't know.
I don't see a big deal as long as it's like an officially printed card. The language shouldn't matter.
Yeah, well, it's the backs. So if you remember, they do the Pocket Monster backs.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, So like
Yeah.
that's the thing that they do different. And I've never really said it, but like my main job is like I work at a comic store that also is like a card store. So my whole day,
Sure.
every day is dealing with Pokemon cards. Like kids coming from school buying packs. It's a birthday. Adults wanting like. So I am. I make Pokestops. You and I talked about like I read the comics. I do all. I am a nerd for the nerds.
Yeah. I'm
Do all
getting
this
ready to
stuff.
go to my local shop and pre-order a comic tomorrow. As we,
Ooh, can you tell me what it is?
I don't know why I couldn't unless someone goes like, oh no, I'm gonna troll.
I
Brett
thought you were
and
gonna be like,
pre-order all the.
it's really weird. What is it?
No, it's Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
It's
I've got to order. I'm ordering it more for like customers to sell because the Last of Us comic book right now is like $130 because, and I could see them doing something with Dead by Daylight, right? Like I could see them making a show or a cartoon or a movie.
They need to because it's so rich with its own lore. The
I
game's
think
been
it's
out
great.
for like 5 years now. I'm like, why hasn't a comic book happened sooner?
Yeah.
But even cooler than that, I was gonna get it regardless, but they also like the comics coming with in-game DLC, like probably just cosmetics, right?
Yeah.
But that's gonna be substantial, I think.
You're like one of my Fortnite kids that come in because Fortnite does that all the time. Like, give me a Fortnite codes, Dad.
I'm definitely gonna buy an extra one.
Yeah, because most people will like will peel it, chuck it, the comic, whatever. But yeah, like I saw that this week. I order that because that's what I got to order comic books for. Like, what will people like? Not what just will I read. Right. What will people do? I man, the more I sound like I do the nerdiest job on the planet. Like the
most awesome job in my estimation.
That's what you brought up, Lured Up. Adam Tuttle and I talk about it all the time. He's like, he despises me because he thinks my job is like the coolest, like nerd thing. Like, I hate you so much because he's big into Digimon cards, and then him and I talk about that.
Oh,
like
what a nerd!
And that's what. So like that's why
we don't pay attention. You can't say the D word on this show.
When I bring up like what I'm going to do, like I have a 12-hour shift tomorrow. I'm like, oh, I got to sort Pokemon cards, and we've been watching like 13 hours of The Flash, and I got to sit there in my Crocs in the air. Like, yeah, there's worse jobs. I love it.
There's a lot of worse jobs, honestly. I can see why, if your job was to sort cards for 12 hours a day, it would
can't do it at home
a little bit, but
I can't when I'm at home. That was a big thing when I started was like, am I going to hate the hobbies that I enjoy? Like, if you like, let's say, reading comic books, but then your whole thing has always been about. I did have a coworker basically quit because of Pokemon cards during COVID. They were calling him at home and like, when's that? Like addicts, like a very addicted to like what we heard about on TV and stuff. And it killed it for him. But yeah, like those days are long and gone. Crown Zenith has a new release, I think, this weekend. For more stuff because everybody's itching for that. But yeah, like no, it's
I'm ready for Scarlet and Violet.
That's what I feel like when I'm talking about my odd jobs I've had. Is like I used to wrestle in a wrestling ring as a fake character. I used to radio. I used to do all this stuff. Like
real quick, so so just imagine here in your heart of brains. My heart's
in my brain.
Your heart's in your brain. Everyone's should be. That's why they say follow your heart, and that's why whenever you look and you walk in a direction, you're following. Anyway, I know anatomy. Dr. Bret, please, gosh.
Dr. Bret, I love it.
Settle down in the comments.
Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Trust me, I'm a doctor. You're about to die. Anyway, you're a Pokemon themed wrestler. What is your stage name?
Well, you could go with I do dabble with the Pokemon show every now and then, and they did one of the professor. It's the big cat. It's the Luchador cat. It's the now you go. Yeah, that's a Luchador cat, isn't it?
Yeah,
so like
he is. He's right there.
Oh, you cheat. He's like, I see him every day. He's on my chest.
Yeah, he's tattooed on me.
So you could do something like that. Is like you're just the like Incineroar. Yeah, I think almost any Pokemon could be a wrestling name.
No, I mean for you specifically.
For me, it almost would be Jake the Ekans. Like
Jake
instead.
Oh, that's so good.
Like
Ekaj the Ek.
Yeah, like you do it backwards. And then like gosh, now that I say that and you ask that, that's probably the coolest thing. I maybe like
yes.
yeah, like because now I'm reimagining wrestlers with like what they would kind of have. Yeah, that's probably the best one.
Pokemaniacs in the games are like one mortgage payment behind, like one more month behind on their mortgage payment from becoming like just crazy, like Dudley Brother-esque tag team jumping off of like 6-story cages onto like tables and ladders.
That was the coolest part of the job is we had people like, hey man, I got rent coming up next week. How much for if I get set on fire? Like that they would do more stuff to be like, hey man, I got something coming up. Like, can we do something cool? I used to get like tacks out of guys' backs. Like I loved it.
No.
It was like
like
and we worked. Mine was I was a keyboard warrior was my gig. Is I would be nice to someone up front, and then when I would be at home, I would like, and then I would type something real mean.
As a wrestler, keyboard warrior is not a bad shtick because then you could get a keyboard.
I did.
Mash it over them.
So I did. So I popped out some of the letters. Like, so before I would go in, I would loosen up some of the keys.
That's amazing.
And then if I needed to strangle them with the cord, and I would pop them, and then the keys would go everywhere.
That's perfect.
I would cheat. I would throw my glasses in a corner and low blow, and I loved it. It was a gig I liked for a while. A lot of them, not joking, are Pokemon nerds. Huge.
We're everywhere.
WWE, all these guys, you can see them playing Pokemon cards. They play Go because like they're traveling to all these cities.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy. It's really like you're in the back changing, getting ready for like a match or something. They're like, hey, what are you playing Pokemon tonight? And I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Like this, but yeah, like that's the various odd jobs radio. Pretty amazing. Wrestling was one. Like that's
Lane. What is your favorite Pokemon?
Ludicolo.
Very good. Did you like his appearance in Detective Pikachu?
If you listen to, because this is my behind the scenes in my show, I use that sound. So usually when I use Pokemon sounds, I use their cries from games, not Ludicolo's. I use it from the movie because I find it's the best.
He looks like if you cut a chunk out of his flesh, it would look like kiwi meat.
Like, it does, but the feathers are weird. Like there's so many weird. They got the textures almost too right.
I didn't realize he was a duck.
Yeah,
for the longest time.
Platypus like.
Yeah, it's the bill. Because like Lombre doesn't say duck, it just says frog.
Exactly, and it has the up, and you and I have talked about before because you have Pokemon tattoos, but I almost find it insensitive if I got a tattoo of a pineapple with a sombrero on it.
Yeah, apologies, by the way, for the things we're going to say on the eventual Ludicolo episode of After Dark.
Because that's what I'm like, well, in the show, I looked in the anime for like different different things. That's what it was. They both have maracas, and they really play into what Ludicolo is. So I'm like, of course I had to choose like the most problematic like Pokemon out of all of them.
We can't control what our favorite is.
I think Sableye's cool. He's a little creep.
Sableye rules.
Like, I want to get a tattoo. I got a Comic-Con coming up next month I got to go to. And every time we're there, there's a tattoo booth inside this comic book convention that does specified nerdy stuff. I could never come up with a good idea. And I thought about, like, a Sableye or something. Like
Mega Sableye would be pretty sick.
Mega Sableye is one of the coolest.
I think
that's what actually I played in the VGC.
At first glance, the tattoo is of a gemstone. And but then at second glance, you see the little Sableye peeking out from behind it.
He's just a little guy over there. He's just a little guy peeking through. Like, hey, well, you eating crackers? Like, what? You got some more nuggies? Like, he's just hanging around.
I think the best Pokemon tattoo I've ever seen, and it's been circulating on the internet for years now, but it's like not a traditional cover up. It's like a really like shitty Pikachu, and then they got a tattoo around it that put that shitty Pikachu into a canvas, and they got a good Pikachu, made it look like the good Pikachu was drawing it.
Love that one.
You could Google some search terms around there, dear listener, and look up a picture of this thing, and it is so clever.
How many do you have? How many Pokemon tattoos do you have?
I just have the chest piece.
So you kind of as one?
So there, yeah, it's like one big
Yeah,
piece. There's 5 Pokemon there, and then I got a second one. I got Mew right here under my
gorgeous.
bicep right there
Yeah.
in the bubble.
I'm not talking about the me. I'm talking about that bicep. Yeah, like
Oh,
that's
stop! Check me
that's
out, YouTube.
like that's what it's. I want to get more of. I want to get because I'm like, do I get the gym badges? But I'm like, crap. I'd have to memorize the freaking. Like I'm gonna get grilled by some guy that's like, you don't know the gym leader of the gym. I'm like, no, the man, the thing looked cool. Like, but yeah, like that's what Pokemon tattoos. Jealous. So good. Ludicolo, my guy.
There was probably somebody at one point that was like, I'm gonna get all the Pokemon tattooed on me back when there was like 300 of them or
Yeah.
500 of them.
They'll
And then
never
now
add
they're
more.
probably, yeah, they're probably really regretting that at this point.
Well, that's the funny part with the show is I'm Good Morning Johto. I have everything set in Johto, and my favorite Pokemon is not in Johto. So I always have to like, oh, he's there. He's hiding out. He's my co-host. So whenever he chimes in, he says Ludicolo gets out.
He's not a natural. He's like not. That's not.
I travel. I went abroad. I took my vacation.
Exactly. I mean, Ash has gone to like 1,000 different regions at this point, and he's taken Pikachu. Well, I guess Pikachu's natural everywhere. I guess. I think is Pikachu. Is it Pikachu?
I think so. I think I heard on.
Oh my God, Pikachu's an invasive species, and Ash has just been spreading around.
It's like, do you remember
getting it on everywhere?
It's you saying invasive species. Do you remember the cereal from 2 years ago that made an accidental invasive species a plant?
No, I don't know what you're talking
about. So it was like, hey, welcome to Mother's Day or Arbor Day or whatever. Here's a plant seed to help you grow plants. And they put them in cereal boxes, but they didn't know that it would invade.
I do remember that.
Yeah, like it was supposed to, and they kind of had to tell everybody, like, hey, please don't use them. Like, they're going to invade your area, and they weren't supposed to like migrate that far. Like, but Pikachu is an invasive species. Probably,
clearly,
there was one more that's like been in almost every generation, but I think it was Snorlax is probably pretty close. But I think Pikachu's up there.
I don't think Snorlax is in Scarlet and Violet, is he? I don't think he is.
Unless I just am blind. Maybe you're right. Like, but it's so Pikachu.
Yeah.
Now you got me. See, you and I are just like, we're not going to Google it. It's there. You can Google it if you want. We don't.
You know who's not there? Kecleon, but he will be in Pokemon Go Tour Hoenn. Oh, baby!
It's so funny that you still haven't. Like everybody around you's caught one. You still haven't caught one.
I don't. Are you serious? Everyone that you know's got one.
I've got 4 or 5. Like I got.
You prick.
Do you not like spin stop? I will say I find like one every 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
I'm so upset. No, I don't have one.
Knowing you though, you probably exit out of the stop before you would even like.
You have to spin it. Like once you spin it, you're in the clear, right? Like it'll just show. Like you'll know.
No. So you spin it and it says "oh," and then you have to tap it 3 times. Like you can't just exit out. That's what you're doing, Bret. That's what you.
So hold on. I spin the stop. I hit the little X.
Nope, he's not there.
Okay, so I spin the stop and then I have to wait.
You spin the stop and it says, "What are you?" And then you have to like tap on the guy. He jumps off. Then you exit out.
So he could be invisible on there. Like
he is invisible. So it says you spin the stop, and it's like you can't spin the stop for a reason. And here's the thing too: you can't drive away or like what it's right under the stop. So I had one like glitch on me, and I had to like run back.
Motherfucker! I'm so mad now.
Yeah, you maybe it's like a shiny and Scarlet Violet. Like you've seen 4 shinies. You're like, no, I haven't. I've only seen 1 or 0.
I need to clue in a few people that I know to this.
Yeah, like because I think you have to tap it and he has to jump. The Kecleon itself has to jump off before. Yeah, it's not just like spin, stop, go. Man, you have a Pokemon podcast. You're just like fake news and information out about these Kecleons that we've been waiting on for 6 years.
How dare you? But Pokemon Go Tour Hoenn isn't fake, and neither are we. And baby, it's this weekend. If you're listening to this the week prior, and not after. Saturday, February 25th, 10 a.m. local time to Sunday, the 26th to 6 p.m. You excited?
I hope it's not cold because this is where it's easy for you and I to live in a weird area. It's been like 20 degrees the past couple weeks, and today was like close to 80. So like, if it can be close to this, I'm good, right? Like if I can, if it's going to be cold, but it's 2 days, we'll see what happens. We don't really know anything about it, right? Like, we know it's going to be close to Vegas, but we know some stuff. Like, I think Rayquaza, like, they're going to do, like, Mega Rayquaza is going to be there, but who knows?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we already know Primal Kyogre and Groudon are going to be there.
Yeah. Am I still going to be at the park for beginning to end? Absolutely. Like,
I literally can't. I gotta attend a birthday, so I'm gonna try and sneak in a few hours prior. But
hopefully that birthday is at a really cool spot, like that's like tons of spots, and
I can sneak it.
Hey, maybe we need to move that birthday to a February park birthday, and everybody's freezing outside, like where you can just
sure. Why not? I have an issue than that. I don't have a ticket.
I had a random Twitter person give me a ticket. The ticket's only for Shiny Jirachi. If you don't care about Shiny Jirachi, then that's it. You don't. All the benefits and everything are good, I believe, outside of that ticket.
Oh no, I care about Shiny Jirachi. I would very much like to have one, but like it's not in my the global. I'm assuming there's a ticket for the global event.
Yeah,
right?
There will be. I think it's because they are probably super focusing on Vegas. Like we're the left behinds, right? Like. Yeah. They're not going to do a Go Hoenn tour near our houses.
It seems like the ticket for the digital event usually goes on sale, like several weeks beforehand?
Sometimes they did one a couple weeks ago that was the day before. And I can't. This is the part where I have to talk about this every single day. Oh, I know it was Chessman Community Day. Chessman Community Day ticket was the day before, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, like they waited a little bit on that one. But yeah, like. We even got the so we got Vegas, and then we got Primal Rumblings in between that, where Rayquaza and everything's going to come leading us into Global Tour. I think it's going to be great. Here's the thing. You can make me any event. This could be, hey, we're going to do Pidgey Tour. I'm still going to be at the park hanging out. My kids are going to be running around. We're still going to be catching all the Pidgeys. I don't care. You could do whatever event my little grubby little hands will get a hold of.
That's not totally true for me. I mean, I'm certain there's a Stunfisk event. I'm not going to be at that one.
That's my favorite cry in the series of Pokemon.
The cry notwithstanding,
it's a fart. It's a fart. Okay, that's what with Stunfisk. But you're like with these big ones, I need them Stardust. I need some stuff, and my son asked me. Because Gracie and I have kids around the same age, and that's why I love her talking about it. My son will be like, when's the next Pokemon Go event, Dad, so I can go to the park? I'm like, well, we can go to the park for other things. It's just incentivized when there's Niantic gives us little tidbits. So this will be the big one. But really excited for a Hoenn tour, but I'm excited for everything. So take that as you will.
They're increasing your storage and item bag capacity for seemingly free, which sounds
What is yours? What's your story?
I'll have to look here. My shop is fuck, I don't know. My item is at 1400 is where I'm at. That one's so easy to manage though. I keep 6 hyper potions, 6 revives, 60 max potions, and 60 max revives, and then just whatever Pokeballs.
I zero them out, baby. I zero all those out.
You never know when you need a Nanab berry, so I keep 10 Nanab berries, for a quest or a challenge or something, you know?
Yeah, yours is higher than mine.
And then I keep all the pineapps and all the golden raz, and then I keep 50 raspberries and then just the rest Pokeballs.
Mine is if I need a revive or a raz, I'll spit a stop somewhere. I'm at 900 items. I put everything in. I got 300 or 3,000 Pokemon storage.
My Pokemon storage is at 3,850.
Geesh. Yeah, do you just put all your coins into that? Is that your...
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Don't buy it. I just use the 50 a day. And
you and I are in such a weird rural area that we could I hit still 10 gyms a day that there's still some of us around here, but enough to I can get 100 coins a day to mid-max, I guess, my coinage.
Yeah, I definitely don't do that. I could probably do a better job at doing that. But also, the coins are probably going to remote passes anyway, so it's kind of slowed down in that regard.
Yeah, I'm super... So we talked about Magic. I'm selfish in the same of that. I don't put removal or any counter spells on my decks because I want my other opponents to do that for me. So when I get raid passes, I try to invite people that have remote raid passes. like I invite Chris or those guys that I know. I'm like, they're gonna go really hard, and I just need people. I need bodies. So those are the ones that I'm like, they got remote raid passes for days. I don't care.
Quick correction. I just literally said that increase is seemingly free.
You got to pay for it, don't you?
Yeah, if you keep reading, you got to pay for it. Like,
oh, what a bunch of crap! I thought it was free too.
It's going up by 50 on each for the item bag capacity and Pokemon storage, but you would have to purchase it from the in-game shop. So kind of
is default still 300? Is it?
I have no idea.
Like my wife wants to start playing with me to these parts, and someone told me they're like, "Oh yeah, isn't your Pokemon storage 300?" I'm like, that seems terrible.
Oh,
that's a community day. Like
I took my kid out for Noibat Community Day, and I mean, it was such a struggle just because he has like no Pokeballs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I've done that before too.
The struggle from when you first start off for Pokeballs is real, and at a certain point, you hit a certain point in playing the game where you just have too many Pokeballs all the time. You're just constantly deleting them. At least I am.
No, same.
Starting out, like, just can't get enough, like, ever.
That's what I tell like kids that go to school, different things. Like, I'm an adult. I have a Go Plus, and I work at a place that has 4 stops, so I can fill up my bag in like 3 hours. Like, just have it going. Like, where that's what kids always talk about. Like, oh, how can you go do community day or these events? Like, well, I'd go and drive, and I'm at the park. Like, that's my brother's been playing since he was so young, and that's what happens is like we have time to go drive and do these things. We are adults playing this game like it's nobody's business.
Seems like Shiny Kecleon's probably going to be the holy grail for this event, I think.
Which is weird. Do you care about? I don't. That's not one that I really care about.
I want it. If I got it, I would be
really.
At this point, I want just a Kecleon.
There was a leak. I don't know how much you see about leaks in the game and different stuff like that. There could be other stuff that they put code in the game for other things that they may release there.
Wow. No, I didn't know.
I don't know if you want to talk about those things. I don't know if that's your.
No, go ahead. Let's go ahead.
They put in their other Reggies like Lecky and Drago into the code.
Oh.
Which I thought that would be a cool way to like after somebody be like, hey, we've been doing the other Reggies. They put Cleavor into it too as sprites, but that's a weird one. That could be a future thing, I believe. But yeah, I think if they do all the Reggies, because that's kind of part of.
Let's be honest. I wouldn't be shocked if something like Cleavor came like right after Hoenn, because it seems like they always have. They always do like a follow-up event like right after the big events to just keep you engaged. Because like I don't know how many times I go hard for a big event like Go Tour, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take a break for a few days, but then oh wow, shiny fossils are in eggs now. I guess I got to do this.
Yeah, and like that was the big thing with this is like I can't wait for us to look like a bunch of idiots because like we'll probably know by this time this episode goes up like everything. So because like Vegas, because I think they're going to give Vegas people everything. If you didn't see that, basically I talked about in the show, it believes 50,000 people are going to be there ticket wise. That they had to let the kind of the town know. So I believe with 50,000 people, they're going to do their thing, global. But hey, at least like to play global, it's free. So
plus, it's Vegas can handle 50,000 people, I would imagine.
I don't know if any city in the state of West Virginia can handle 50,000 people.
No shot. People would be sleeping in the street.
Yeah, well, they do that already. But you and I talk about that, we don't have hotels here. Like someone said that the other day, and I felt so sad. They were like, "Oh yeah, like what big towns? What's there to do in West Virginia?" And I'm like, man, that's a good like." There's some sports stuff, I guess. Like the food's good.
Sports stuff.
The food's fine. It's like the other, like some of the.
I like it because there's not 50,000 people here. That's why I like it.
You go because you went to the state. Like
if you want to relax, come here.
Yeah, like you go to the mountain. It's cheap. Like I go whitewater rafting deep in like
skiing. Our outdoors is our greatest natural resource. Our population is not. Let's go through some of these shiny Pokemon that are going to be available.
Tell it to me, baby.
These are going to be some of the rotating guys so the Blistering Sands habitat. You got Torchic, nobody cares. Poochyena, it's fine. Lotad, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know who could possibly like Lotad.
Yeah,
Nincada, personally, really love
Yeah.
Incada. Unfortunately, in this iteration, you can't get a Shedinja from involving an Incada, so it's like it doesn't really matter. Like I really want a shiny Shedinja. That's what
I
I want.
think I have one. It was a weird one, but yeah.
Makuhita, Nose Pass, Aaron, which I finally got an Aaron, so you know, not as hyped for it, I guess. Numel, great shiny when it evolves into Camerupt. Got one of those recently. Cacnea, Baltoy, and Bagon. Anything out of that jump out to you?
Don't care at all about any of those.
Yeah, I mean I'll never turn my nose pass up at a shiny.
I think they're all just so recent, right? Like we got the Hoenn starters during like they did that like Hoenn Mega Day in December. We got those. I feel like Bagon and the other ones like they had during that Dragon event. Got those.
Well,
like
and they had community days as well for Torchic and Bagon.
And we've gotten those. So like and then the rest of them like they're fine. Like they're fine.
I think like 3 or 4 of these also had like what were those called? Like the research days where it was like a little mini community day.
Like the Love Disc one we just had. Like it's the field research day where like you go and spin stops and you can get a chance.
Yeah, like
but the rest of them like you said Puchiana and stuff like it's cool. But you and I both are like if I get it, it'll be the love of my life and it'll die with me.
But, like I have 2 Puchianas, I have a Lotad, I have a Numel, I have an Aaron, I have a Torchic, I have a Bagon. Like, I hate Nose Pass's guts. I don't really care about Makuhita. Like, Cacnea, I'll take a Cacnea. How about that?
Yeah, like Cacnea is cool. And like you said, the shinies, what you said, Numel shiny is just like awesome. I think that one's really sweet.
Numel's terrible, but Camerupt is fabulous. It's like this deep mauve purple. I don't know what mauve means, but...
It's a word you just made up. I got it.
It sounds right. Eerie Mist Habitat, you got Routes, nobody cares. Surskit, fine. Whismur, fine. Meditite, the worst Pokemon in the world. Spoink, great. Zangoose, great. Seviper, great. Chimecho, Absol, Snorunt, Love Disc, and Beldum. This hour is much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Beldum, like, just give me anything with Beldum, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean, I have a bunch of shiny Beldum from its original community day, and I'll still take more shiny Beldum all day, every day. Snorunt, fantastic shiny.
I like them.
Dual evolution. Absol's got a great shiny. Zangoose and Seviper have great shinies. Like Spoinks is a good shiny. Shoot.
Zangoose, that would be a good one too, because if they're region flipping a bunch of these, right. I know a lot of people that don't have. I have more than one, but I have like that's one like that. That's the big thing with these. Like, yeah, they're all fine.
It's good for people. Well, like for people like my kid who doesn't have a Zangoose, it'll be very good for him.
So yeah, like those Kangaskhan days. That's been a while. Like stuff like that. We haven't done a flip in
it has not. It has been quite some time. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been catching my Kangaskhan. It's been okay. That's enough of that. Verdant Earth Habitat, Trico, Zigzagoon, Wurmple, Seedot, Shroomish, Slackhoth, Skitty, Mawile. I hate that name. Electrike, Roselia, Gulpin, and Swablu.
I like that one.
Not as good as the previous hour to that, but
yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't take like multiple shiny Wurmples? Because you're rolling the dice every time you evolve them.
Well, I think Trico's good too. Like Sceptile's a good, like Mega, good up there. Mawile shiny.
Trico's a great starter Pokemon. It's another one of those ones that we have like a ton of them from Community Day.
Yeah.
Same with Slakoth and Swablu and Roselia. You should have a bunch of those. And Seedot. Seedot had a Community Day.
Seedot had a big Community Day, yeah.
So, like, I would love, personally, out of this one, I want Shroomish. I want all the Wurmples. I have a Zigzagoon, but I would not be sad to get more. It's an orange shiny. It's really nice.
Well, and it's good to get for your like your other forms for like your Obstagoon stuff, right? Like that's the ones like to get the
day as well.
Which had the Community Day. So if you already don't have a bajillion shinies, because that one's good PvP. Obstagoon's a really good PvPer.
Oh, I'm glad you know, because I don't.
I know just from like watching some, like I try every now and then. I'm like a dad trying to learn. Like I don't want to be professional, but I just want to know enough to go and see what's going on.
Right. For the Ancient Shores Habitat, we have Mudkip, one of the all-time greats. Talo, Wingull, Carvana, fantastic. Barboach, the wiggly dick Pokemon. Corphish, Lileep, Anorith, Phoebos, and Spheal, and Clamperl, which Clamperl, another one of those good ones to get multiples of.
I think it's the best one.
You're rolling the dice on that evolution. I think I have a shiny Clan Pearl, and I'm just too terrified to try and evolve it.
Same.
So if I got a couple
Oh
extra
no, I
Clan
did.
Pearl, I'd be very happy.
But they're all gonna be Huntails. They're all you're.
Yeah, that's gonna be what's.
But I think
upsetting.
this is the best one, right? Like Lilleep. Also, here's my PvP. Good for PvP. They need that XL candy. Mudkip also very great. But did Mudkip have a community day rate?
It did.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's the only one out of this bunch that had a community day. Clan Pearl had one of those those days where you spend a bunch of stops and get a whole bunch of them. I've already forgotten the name of it.
Field research day. We just talked about
Yep.
5 seconds ago.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Because it's like red in the it's like more red in the. I was gonna say the pearly region, but that just sounds gross.
Lily
pearly
and Anna,
reds.
this is probably the hour where, like, if I can swing it, I will go super hard on.
That's gonna be the one that you can't go.
I know it because it's the 4th hour or whatever, and I'll have to leave before then or some shit. But if people that listen to the show know, I want the shiny fossils.
Well, and here's the thing, and I don't know if we talked about it in the beginning. Does this depend on also what ticket you're getting to, or not ticket? Like you have to choose a side. Like that's the free part. You got to choose red or blue.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay, I didn't know if the spawns mattered on what side you're choosing.
I think this is just generic spawns for the hour.
I got you. I got you.
But this hour has got Lilleep and Anorith. Corfish, I love Corfish. I'll always take a Corfish. Carvana
good shiny.
was a really sought after shiny until I finally got one, but I would love to have multiples because it seems like everyone that I know is like, hey, give me a shiny Carvana. And then I'm like, oh, no, I don't.
Well, good mega. Sharpedo's a good mega. I think that one's another cool one. Yeah.
That's a really cool mega.
See, that's what happened is like, I think we all forgot, like we talked about Mega Sableye. Like, that's a cool mega. Like Sharpedo's going to be a good one.
That's a really cool Megalodon.
Yeah, got him.
How long do you think it's going to be before they introduce like Meltan's mega form? Because they should do that. I think.
Probably in the next 10 years.
I think they should do it at some point.
Because
they're gonna drag, like, eventually we're gonna run out of megas before we run out of like introducing new Pokemon and new shinies. So.
Yeah, because we've got the thing. We're almost a better half of a decade into this game, and we barely got the tip, baby. We don't got too much going on.
They're gonna yeah, they're gonna stretch it out as long as they can. But then what am I thinking? They're gonna go straight to Dynamax. Let's be real.
Well, you don't think they're gonna do like Z moves or something? You don't think they're gonna do like?
I don't know how you implement Z moves.
I think you do. You do a pattern. I think you're the guy because. The whole thing is that they may do items in PvP, and that you have to like you have to do
interesting.
Like a V or a Z for like Z move, like you do like you got to do a pose or something. Like
yeah, maybe.
But Dynamax they can go forever. Dynamax they have a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. When you select your ticket, you can choose to be on Team Kyogre or Team Groudon. If you choose Kyogre, you're looking at Minun, Illumise, Whelmer, Lunatone, and Cast Form. The rainy version specifically. Any of those float your boat?
No, they don't.
I need a Lunatone. I have a Soul Rock. I need a Lunatone. Going with the Team Groudon will net you Plusle, Volbeat, Trapinch, Soul Rock, and Cast Form, Sunny Form. Nothing going there.
Yeah, like they're both fine. Like they're both okay.
I guess I'd be going for Team Kyogre then. 2 new costume Pikachu. Brendan's hat Pikachu and May's hat Pikachu. They're cute.
Yeah, like Brendan's hat everybody thought was his hair in the game. Like we didn't have great graphics.
It looks like that.
It did, like in the old, because it's like it was an up top shot, and we just thought like, oh, this guy has white hair, and then it revealed to like 10 years later it was his hat. We're like, come on, man, like that's messed up.
During the event, Pokemon hatching from eggs, you got 2K eggs, Pichu, Igglybuff, Trico, Torchic, Mudkip, Azurill, why not? 5K eggs have Surskit, Gulpin, Cacnea, 7K eggs, Trapinch, Phoebus, Bagon, Beldum, and in 10K eggs, Torkoal, Tropius, and Relicanth.
Those 7 and 10K eggs, baby. That's where they're at.
I don't know about the 7K eggs, because you're looking at Beldum, for me anyway, you're looking at Beldum, which is fine. but like I do not want to.
I only want
Trash
7Ks
bag-ons
because I know 10Ks are going to be impossible to me, and I want those, so I won't get them. So my settle is going to be 7Ks cool, or like if I can get a shiny, why not? My most prized possession I have in Go is a 4-star shiny event Wobbuffet that's female. My prized possession.
Wow.
And so if I can get more shinies of that, like that's cool. But yeah, like 10Ks.
Oh, a shiny Relicanth would be so cool.
That would be a good prize possession. Same with Tropius, other PvP. See, Gracie, great. I can be the Gracie stand-in sometimes. Like I know they're good. Like that's Tropius is good.
Yeah.
But it's how this is what we don't know is 10K is going to be as hard as it is now, right? Like is 10K because I see 10K a week, maybe. So if I can like and I'm a single egg incubator guy, so it takes me a while. So we'll see what I
definitely feel your plight because I'm the same way. I get maybe one of those a week, and I'm no longer falling for the incubator scam. In raids, you got Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip in 1-star raids, and all the versions of Deoxys in 5-star raids. That's fine. Nothing new. Nothing new here.
Well, though, the big thing is going to be the primal raids. So,
I was getting to that.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to save the tickets, baby. You got to save the tickets.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, what most people are going to go after is Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon for those, the Primal Energy or whatever it was they were calling it.
Yeah, like that's going to be. I hope they're also very difficult. I need this is my hot take. I liked Elite Raids once you actually got into them. Like you had to have like 10 plus people. Thought that was cool. So hopefully with this.
Oh, here we go. Special research chasing legends. This is the event exclusive special research where you're going to help Professor Willow and Rye or Reeve figure out what's going on with these primal guys. But more interesting to me anyway, the Masterwork research, ticket exclusive research. It is going to drop on February 20th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So that's when we can expect, as of this recording, it's not out. Obviously, we literally just brought that up. But by the time you're listening to this episode, it might be out. Let me check that.
Yeah, it's Monday. Monday's the ticket.
Yeah. So you can get it right now. Yeah, go on there and buy your ticket right now.
We're professionals. We know how to read.
I understand time travel. $4.99 American. Can't be bought with Pokecoins. Nets you a shiny Jirachi. I'm doing it. And for the first time, you'll be able to encounter shiny Unknown H, shiny Surskit, Gulpin, Torkoal, Cacnea, Tropius, Relicanth, and Kecleon for the first times in the game.
That's where it's going to be at.
And I'm looking at a picture of them. Like, I know Kecleon's probably the big-time prize in this, but he's not the best-looking shiny. Of the ones that they literally just listed, I mean, Torkoal and Relicanth are pretty sexy. Tropius,
I've never seen a shiny Gulpin before, and it looks good.
It looks fine. Yeah, well, it's definitely shiny Gulpin's good. Shiny Swalot's not that great.
Shiny Swalot looks like Violet from Willy Wonka.
I think it hurts that it was like its natural color is like purple, isn't it?
Yeah, close to that.
Yeah, so it's kind of close.
But we want the region lock stuff like that shiny because this may not happen again, or if they do, they may take the shiny away and say, "No, not for you." So yeah, like Tropius looks the same to me. Tropius looks like someone like messed with the contrast just a little bit. Said, "Yup, that's good." Relicanth's really good though.
Shiny Primal Kyogre and Groudon will be available in Primal raids as well, and oh my god, those things are hot. They're black.
It's crazy.
They are sleek and sexy and cool. New avatar items, sure. Bunch of that stuff there. Get stylish, new stickers, all that fancy stuff. So
I just don't understand stickers.
Big shout out to leakduck.com, by the way, for the comprehensive list of stuff.
Like I get the primal stuff, everybody's gonna go. So do you think we're gonna put Rayquaza, like this is our tinfoil hats? Is Rayquaza gonna make it's like we're getting the small event? Do you think
Sunday?
I think it'd be Sunday.
Rayquaza. Yeah, absolutely. I think,
or it's going to be the next elite raid. But if we're ending the season, going to be this this is going to be the difference between us and Vegas. Like this is going to be like their reason to do because let's say you're going to Vegas and come home, you're not going to want. I already did this event. Why do I need to do this again twice? It's going to be
more shinies.
more shiny. Like Chris will catch another 1,000 shinies.
Yeah,
Like
for sure you will.
you and I with our 5 each. But yeah, they'll do Rayquaza. I'll be like,
Ken will have to complete
congratulations.
his entire shiny decks 10 times over.
Because the whole in story point is we're working with Team Rocket to take down a mystery opponent, which we all know who it's going to be the other teams. So I think it's going to be like Rayquaza. And that's just tinfoil. Like, what else would they do it, right? They know that's going to be the biggest one. And Shiny Rayquaza is just, it's good. It's good stuff. Also, black. I think it matches the pattern.
They're gonna be pumping out the raid passes for sure.
Vegas is getting crazy amount. They're getting like 9 to 16 plus a day.
I don't remember. For the promo raids, can you invite people to those?
So I believe so. Yes, you can't for elites, but if we're treating them like megas, so like the whole thing is basically like megas, we do believe they're going to be invited.
Okay, all right.
The big thing is that like after this is like they're probably going to block all the people from Vegas. That was the big idea. Is like Vegas people can't invite us, but then once it's like this, then you and I
yeah, because they wanted that exclusivity there for the people that actually go to Vegas, which we would go to Vegas. Niantic, holler at us, come on.
You and I would go in the storage, like we'll even go underneath, like put me with the dog cages. We'll be hanging, like passing greenies, whatever. Like it's
as we emerge from the fugue state that is Hoenn Tour, on the 27th we have Pokemon Day, which is a celebration of all things Pokemon. It's the anniversary, blah blah blah, all that sort of thing. And it's also a day when they announce whatever they got coming up in the year. It's pretty safe to say there's going to be Scarlet and Violet DLC. Hopefully they announce like updates that stabilize the game, some like the frame rate and random.
I love that you thought it was going to be like, it'll be a few weeks from launch. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I was hoping for a patch, like an emergency patch to come through, but hopefully we get to hear something about that during Pokemon Day. I'm sure there's going to be stuff for like Masters EX and all that synchronicity that you'll get with other,
Unite.
Yeah, Unite will get stuff, things of that nature. Give me just a second here.
I think the season of Mythical Wishes is ending close too. So they'll probably announce like, this is your next season.
Oh, sure. Maybe hear something about Pokemon Sleep, if it's real.
I don't even know. I barely know what it is. I know what the name is.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Literally, it records your biometrics while you sleep, and then it rewards you based on sleeping and helps you train a virtual.
I don't know about you, but I snore like an absolute train. So that better get me something in the game that can hear my snoring. And
I sleep like a corpse in the night, dead, cold, unfeeling.
I move around, I walk around, I snore, I do all of it. So like, I don't even know. Like, it's just one of those weird things. But yeah, you're right. We'll probably hear something about that. DLC they're going to do Scarlet and Violet probably card stuff for that. We'll probably hear more about the anime of like.
Sure, the anime is coming soon, like real soon.
That'll be soon. That'll be like. But I told you with Go, I think they'll have a couple big Go announcements. But yeah,
we'll get to that in a second. There was recently a Nintendo Direct where they announced a ton of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games coming to the Switch. I wonder if maybe we didn't hear anything about any Pokemon titles. I wonder if we're saving some of those for Pokemon Day. Like if we're gonna get like red, green, or red and blue and yellow, or like gold.
Have you tried to play it through them again? Have you tried to go back through?
Oh no, not in many years.
It's just give me the ability to run.
Right. But I can't, they'd probably do gangbusters, even if you can't transfer those Pokemon up, and it was just the standalone games themselves.
Sure.
Being, streamed over a Switch, people would probably.
That is the speculation that you can move them to home. That's what people are like. Oh, well, because they're getting rid of Pokebank after a decade and a half, whatever. Like, and I still got to do it. My DS has been sitting here for weeks to like transfer stuff over. I'm going to literally put it on top of my phone so I know it. But yeah, like if they do the older games, because Johto is my gold and silver, because you get 2 games in one, right? Like, why not? Like, you get both games in one. Like, you get to go back through. That would be a cool way to get them to home.
Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, big shout out to Vedant for clarifying something that I asked in a previous episode. He mentioned that even though they like are gonna close down Pokemon Bank, as long as it's still installed on your machine, you'll still be able to transfer things through it for at least X amount of time, for at least for a while, even though won't be able to get it from the shop anymore. So appreciate that information. My Zeraora is still he still needs to get into the Switch. God.
Mine is like I'm afraid to end my home membership because it's like they say even if you end it, it'll be there, but I'm afraid they'll be gone forever. So now they've locked me until death.
I'll let you know because I haven't paid for that thing in over a year.
Oh,
I got like probably over 1,000 Pokemon sitting in home right now. Like,
see, they tell you to like your extra Pokemon from Ghost into home. That doesn't do it for me there, champ. Like
it doesn't work unless you pay for the freaking thing at any rate.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, like that's because that's what people say. That's what they do with their extra shinies. I'm like, no, for me, Scarlet and Violet is I complete the story, I complete the Pokédex, I sit it down, and that's it.
I would transfer like Jesus Christ.
You would transfer Jesus Christ?
I transferred Jesus Christ. Sorry, I started up Pokemon Home and the music was on and it startled me. But I would say I was going to transfer. Like I never transfer legendaries. I keep legend. I'm just still in that old school game mode. Like you don't release legendaries, so I have tons of legendaries just clogging up my boxes. Like I would totally send those to Pokemon Home. Next time I get a subscription, whenever that'll probably be an announcement, right? I can't imagine they wouldn't address that on Pokemon.
They were so that was the next one because that was going to be like what they were going to do. It's supposed to be spring. Is when Go or Home works with Scarlet and Violet, is going to be their big thing. So because that's what people like is to like move their things up from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet. But what's going to be different about this is they have to code it so they can all come out of the Pokeball and run around with you, right? Yeah. Like so, all the ones that, but they still had it in the same as like only the ones that you can find in the game you can transfer over. Because if you don't remember too, we're supposed to get the little golden dude adding Pokemon Go. Golden Go? What's is Gimmighoul?
Gimmighoul and Goldango.
That we were supposed to get them over. So like when Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Go, and Home all mush and make their little baby, we're gonna get little golden Fruit Loops, whatever mascot guy.
Yeah. You nailed that hammer right on its golden head. You mentioned earlier about another Pokemon Go announcement. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You're a little bit more knowledgeable in this.
Yeah, like this is something that I knew before just because of my job, and I didn't want our store to like. I always say Pikachu's going to come break my ankles, but it did get officially announced through the Twitterverse and everything. This is something that was made for people like Gracie and everything to dominate, but for you and I to come in. So your local stores that have tournaments for Pokemon, TCG, and video games. I don't know a lot of stores that do the video game tournaments, but the ones that have TCG can, in the future, they said this year, have Pokemon Go PvP tournaments. Like officially, not just like Bret and I going to the back alley next to the dumpster being like, battle me anime style.
I'm doing that anyway, but not with Pokemon. I'm just going down there to a stranger going, battle me.
And that's what's going to happen is you're going to be in the back of West Virginia and people's going to happen.
And that's what I call it. Wink.
So what's going to happen is you can go to these stores. And what does that mean for you and me, right? Like what could they do? Well, for the TCG and different things, they give away codes to locals that you could get a special in-game avatar. You could get something special there. You could more than likely like what they used to do for some card stuff. It's like you can qualify for bigger tournaments that way. You can get in-store stuff. It's just something to show off your stuff. But for you and me that may not know PvP, we know a lot of people that do. So, like, having them kind of help. And, like, this thing is, like, having people into PvP. Because I always say this. PvP has been in the game for a couple years now. This game is almost 7 years old. We just had our World Championship last year because of the pandemic. So, this game's just now starting what PvP was made to do in its later year.
It's pretty cool. I'm not the biggest PvP stan out there, but I'm pretty into it. I think it's really a really interesting way to get more people involved in PvP. Will I do it? Maybe.
If you're there and they're like, it's according to what the rewards are, but why you and I like why like I've played PvP in the past is like, well, I already got the crap, right? Like
I don't know about like necessarily needing a reward. Like, say if you
didn't want a good in-game code, or like, what if they would give you a shiny something like this? How you get shiny?
Shiny Pokemon's different than like an avatar item. If it's just an avatar item, I could give a shit.
Because stores already have special Pokestops that I talked to some of the Wayfinder guys. Like it's coded differently too. So they did that right around when they snuck this announcement in. So they can almost make spawns at the Play Pokemon stores different than some other spots because they're coded differently.
Nice.
Yeah, super weird. And this is just, we'll see, I think, another giant influx of people wanting to play Pokemon.
Yeah, it'll be good. But like for me, like it would be just fun to go experience the event, maybe take my kid, have a beer if I'm at a place that serves beer.
Because your store does. Your store does.
One of them does, yeah. And then just chill.
Yeah, like it's made for people like Gracie to like beat up people.
Yeah, beat up the fucking scrubs like
you and I who come in.
But also, of course, network. Just pass out after DARKRAI flyers. You
have this beer. You're tapping like, oh, here's my business card. It's a napkin.
30-year-old man who likes Pokemon. I got this show just for you.
Look at my chest. I have tattoos.
I got tattoos and I got a podcast.
That's going to be. You're like, we talk about PvP a little bit sometimes, maybe.
It's exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
I want them to do what they do. Like, I don't want it to be Great League every week. I want them to be like, this week is Love Cup. And you have to bring to, because I tell my TCG players, because they laugh at me, I'm like, PvP is harder than TCG because you can just go buy your Gengar card, right? Like if you want a Gengar, I have to wait till October. If I need a good Gengar, like I have to wait for a good one. You want to buy your really cool Lugia? You can do that. So for me to get a good ice, I gotta wait. December just passed. I'm screwed. Like that's what we talk about is like that's going to be the really cool thing about Go. But then it'll help trading and everything, right? Like you can still help trade. And do you look at their IVs for PvP? Do you do that?
No, not since kept bothering Gracie for it, and she was like, "Have you ever heard of this app called PokeGenie?" And I'm like, Gracie, you don't have to talk down to me. How dare you? I put in,
there's a special search you can search to like make it where the PvP IVs are just searchable in the game. Like it's like 0 to 1 of the first stat and then the top for the others.
I don't understand any of that shit. I'm just like, this guy's cool. He's probably good. Gets ass kicked. I don't know why.
But at locals, that could be fine. Like you're in like the West Virginia back. Like we don't have like the giant town. So you could be like the stomp of that time. So it is going to be. I do like that they're making new things for this game. Like they're continuing Giant. Sure.
It's good. It's good for community building too. Real quick, I checked Pokemon Home and I have 1,457 Pokemon that I am not allowed to even look at. Can't even access them.
So they tell you it's there, but then it's like they're holding them like.
Yep.
Can't touch them.
To view all your Pokemon, you need to change your current plan to a premium plan. So I can look at 30 Pokemon and at least 5 of them are Zangoose for some reason.
It's like the first ones you transferred over. We did do that. I'll tell you what, I forgot about this. I did have to use Home it was Go. Actually, it wasn't even Home to like get Meltans. Mm-hmm. Like when we got Meltan in, like we had to use like that, but I forgot it wasn't even Home. It was just your like Pokemon Go in. But never mind.
It's of note that like the game prompted me and said, "Hey, you got Pokemon transferred from Pokemon Go. Do you want to receive them?" And I said yes. Then it's like, here's a list, and it shows you all the Pokemon. I'm like, oh yeah, there's some good ones in there. And then it's like, oh, but hey, you ain't got that premium plan. They just kind of boned in limbo here. Sorry.
No, okay, it's good to know they're still there because I'm just scared not to like.
I guess. But that also means that I can't send them from Pokemon Go until I receive them in home first. So they got me. So I'm just waiting for
Mine
Scarlet
is like the
Violet.
same. Like, what's the point to me? Like, let's say you're waiting on Scarlet Violet. For me, it's like, well, if I beat the game already, like, am I going to bring the homies in? Like, am I just going to
So
bring every Pokemon with me from the last like decade and a half everywhere I go?
what I do is I'll take like the main ones, right? Like my starter, maybe like my favorite couple Pokemon of the gen that I use on my team, like my main team that I use to beat the game with. They'll come up with me, right?
Sure.
Uh, and then of course, the legendaries are, the Sword Dog. He's coming. I love that guy.
He
I'll
just
send
has a
him
weird
over.
Pokemon Go sprite. Like, that's always like the weird one is like Shield Dog and Sword Dog have weird sprites to me.
I love him so much. I don't care at all about Calyrex. Like I didn't even finish that DLC. I just
Same.
did not like him at all. But it's fine. But hey, we got to take a break. Uh,
Yeah.
while we're doing that and refreshing our our delicious bodies, you, dear listener, are going to listen to a completely pre-recorded ad that's not at all fake. Pokemon After DARKRAI is brought to you by Morpeko Art Deco. That's right. If you got a shithole room in your house that needs to be completely facelifted, oh boy, grab your tools and your toolkits and your other things because Morpeko Art Deco is the kit for you. That's right. This is one of those weird loot box type things where it comes with a random assortment of various Art Deco things like stickers, paintbrushes, paints, other things. Those weird, like, window clings that you put up for Halloween. You could get any one number of these things. You might get a paintbrush and no paint. You might get a paint and a sponge and no paintbrush. You don't know what's coming in Morpeko's Art Deco, but I tell you what's not coming into it with it. Any food whatsoever, because part of the theme of the box is that you're hangry the whole time. So you just got to be pissed off and redecorating your room. Lane, we sent you a Morpeko Art Deco. I can't even say it anymore. A Morpeko Art Deco box. Do you care to describe some of the objects you received in yours and what did you think of them?
This one was a used Halloween cling from last year that looks very nice. There also is a very nice different art, but it may look like it's just a middle finger from you that is painted in all black that may be on there.
It's actually a photograph, like one of the kinds you have to shake to make it appear. You got to shake it, Lane.
Oh yeah, like that makes sense. And like, so we got one of those that you have to shake. There's also just like several different paintings of your favorite Pokemon, but in weird poses. Like you took pictures of them.
Like if they were on the Titanic and you had to draw them yourself.
Yeah, and then some of them are just stick people that are just like there in their own
and they
thing.
have a label that say what Pokemon they are, but it's clearly just a stick person.
But then you have like the nicest vases I've ever seen. Like the nicest like coral made from Corsola vases.
Oh, Corsola vases. Oh,
yeah, like a Corsola vase, like that you made these into perfect vases that, and it almost like doesn't fit the rest of the theme, but you're like, oh wow, these are actually pretty good.
What was your Halloween fling of?
My Halloween fling, you would think it would be like from a Halloween type Pokemon, but it was actually just like a random of like the ostrich from Scarlet and Violet, like just a random one. Like it wasn't even like matching.
Or she wants to swing from the chandelier. Sia, the Sia Pokemon.
The Sia, yes.
So in my box, what I got was I got a bunch of My Hero Academia stickers. I don't know why. But I put those all over. I used those. I stuck them all together so that they're all their borders were all touching to form one giant sticker and use that to cover the fist-sized hole in the side of my bedroom. It really keeps the draft out at night. I also got some Mardi Gras beads. They, for some reason, have XFL teams that no longer exist on them. I don't know why, but I hung those up as tchotchkes around the room, really like bring some flair to the room, you know? I also got a flag, but it's not the kind of flag that goes on a flagpole. It's the kind of flag you buy when you want to hang it in a room because you're a cool guy. And the flag is of a half-eaten donut, and on the bottom it just says, "Hey, you'll be whole again someday," but whole is spelled H-O-L-E because it's like a donut hole. And then also there's a little tin sign, a little sign made out of tin, and it says "Hang in there." But I think this one's defective because instead of having a cat, it's just got a picture of a branch that's clearly broken off and like there's nothing there.
The further I dig into my box, I find just random wrappers of like that I'm hungry, but I'm just getting smells of things like random Jack Link's jerky wrappers and things that are. Yeah, it's making me hangry that I can smell all these things, but I can't actually do anything with them.
Mine came with sleeping pills. Morpico Art Deco brand boxes. Get yours today. As chosen by our Patreon members, every week we do a quote-unquote random Pokemon that's no longer quite so random. Our Patreon members get to vote on them, and you can too if you go to patreon.com/poddog. You can check out all the various tiers that we have and stuff. And while we're bringing it up, thank you so much, Stephie L, Steve S, Cisco M, Ken P, and Mom. Hi, Mom. For choosing today's Pokemon, and it's Tangela. Tangela, Manjara, I don't know how to say it, is the Vine Pokemon, number 114, the OG. Cutest little mass of squirming worms you ever did see. Kind of looks like a Mario villain. Lane, what are your thoughts on Tangela?
It was one of those things that got a real good buff when it got an evolution. And it also looks like it tastes good, like a weird spaghetti salad.
No, it looks like it's like literally worms to me. Like it looks like you will get worms in your butt.
Butt worms.
Because but seriously, in all seriousness, I really like Tangela. It looks like an enemy from, like I said, Mario. It could also be an enemy from Mega Man. Like, it's just a cute little guy.
He's just a cute little guy. He's doing his thing.
Yeah. The whole body is swathed with wide vines that are similar to seaweed. Its vines shake as it walks. Its identity is obscured by masses of thick blue vines. They are said to never stop growing. It cloaks its body with these said vines, and they're always jiggling. They effectively unnerve its foes, and they will become entangled with anything. It tangles anything moving with its vines. The subtle shaking is ticklish if you get ensnared.
Think about if you got ensnared and you just started to laugh.
It would be like I know a lot of girls that would hate being partners with the Tangela just because they hate being tickled. But as far as I can tell, they love it because they just every time I do it, they just laugh uncontrollably. During battle, it constantly moves the vines that cover its body in order to annoy its opponent. So it's annoying, and then it just tickles you to death.
The funniest way to die.
The vines that cloak its entire body are always jiggling. Yeah, we already said that one. The vines snap off easily if they are grabbed. This happens without pain, allowing it to make a quick getaway. The lost vines are replaced by newly grown ones the very next day. So in theory, you could remove all of its vines and see what's underneath there.
I think it's just going to look like a Pac-Man, just like a black like a ball with eyes and legs, like just like a.
It's kind of like a walking sea anemone, now that I think about it.
They got to do that one generation. Like all these different forms is like, what does it look like? I bet it looks like to me was the ice cube. I always forget about that one. And like,
oh yeah,
the icicle breaks and you're like, ugh, like put it back on. Like that's how I think Tangela would be.
Blue plant vines cloak its whole body in a tangled mass.
See, you keep saying blue, but it was never blue to me. I guess it is blue.
It is blue, yeah.
for whatever reason, I always thought it was green, but I guess that's the shiny.
Is that the shiny? I haven't gotten down that far yet, but
And it has shoes.
the whole the shoes. He's got them Jordans.
It was so weird. I wonder how like this is like. It seems like a really cool design, but it's basic. Like, I guess it is one of those nostalgic. Like, it is just a cool design.
Here we go. Many writhing vines cover it, so its true identity remains unknown. The vines grow its whole life long. English is hard.
Looks like a good bouncy ball as well.
Yeah. Its identity is obscured by masses that blah, blah, blah. I already said that. Hidden beneath a tangle of vines that grows nonstop. Even if the vines are torn off, this Pokemon's true appearance remains a mystery. It has a distinct scent. Ooh, that's new. In some parts of Galar, Tangela vines are used as herbs. You smoke some of that herb?
I was gonna say, like, you just smoke it off. Like, that's so weird.
You just snap on. I mean, oh, come on. You eat some of Fido's, buns.
Got them hot buns, but like this is.
You eat some of what's his face's tail, Slowpoke. Pop that sucker off and just nom nom nom, right?
But this seems like, that pops off. This is like while you're walking, if you need like a snack or like a smoke, you're just like,
you just rip off some of the vines, you roll them up, and you smoke them. It is shrouded by blue vines. No one has seen the face hidden behind the growth of vines. The vines impart a refreshing sensation when chewed. They're useful as a spice. Whoa.
So wait, are they saying it's spicy? I know it's a spice, but like
a spice doesn't necessarily have to be spicy per se. Like,
but
cinnamon,
what would it?
Cinnamon is a spice, and it's not.
But that means like the Tangela, it has flavor. Like if it's being used as like,
it's used as herbs and as a spice. So
like a rosemary type, like
yeah,
not like I guess.
I don't know. Regardless, people are basically ancient humans in the Pokemon world were like, this shit looks edible, and just ripped off Tangela's vines and just started munching on it. I'm hungry. Give me some of this.
Yeah, you're just holding it like as a partner, and then just sometimes just like going down there getting a munch.
This scent is really not that bad. I wonder what you taste like.
The more and more you read it, the more and more I had more questions. Like because I'm like, oh, this is just a basic like
what a good one.
Little vine. Yeah, it's like a flying spaghetti monster, but like
the green one, the shiny is green. Good shiny. I like it.
Yeah, like it's I didn't know how much I liked it until you start talking about just Tangela itself.
In red and blue beta, Tangela was originally known as Medusa. I know I'm bouncing around from Tangela and Tangela. I think when I was a kid, I always said Tangela. I don't think that's correct.
It's funny to do that because Star Wars does that. They'll say AT-AT, at, and all the different words to like make them all right. So as long as you just say all these made up words in different ways, then all of them are right.
Due to the mystery around its appearance under its vines, it may be based on the swamp monster from the short story It by Theodore Sturgeon, not to be confused with Pennywise. In addition, it may also be inspired by the Sargassum seaweed monster written by English writer William Hope Hodgkin, which inspired monsters in Japanese pop culture. Interesting. Fantastic.
For me, it looks like just a guy that got too much like a seaweed or like that rose out and like that even happens like in lakes and different things. Like you come out and there's just a bunch of like swamp ick.
Yeah. Its Pokedex entries state that its vines will be entangled when it's surrounding. This may be a reference to thigmotropism, a biological reaction plants have towards contact that encourages them to coil around objects they touch as they grow, allowing stability in their stems and branches. What am I in? Annihilation? That's what it feels like. And Tangela, of course, evolves into Tangrowth, which is from what? Was it Gen 5?
Yeah, for whatever Diamond and Pearl. Was that 4?
It could be 4.
They always get them mixed up to me. I think it's 4. That's when they went back and added everything. They did that kind of in this one. I like that. Like they went back and
Gen 4. I was one off.
But then I thought I liked Tangrowth, but I like Tangela more because like the hands on Tangrowth are weird.
They're weird. I don't hate it, but
they look like they're about to smack me on the rear and tell me good game. Like
They really missed an opportunity to really do a Magnemite with this one and just make it like a stack of like three or four. Imagine Tangrowth, but imagine it was just like 5 Tangela just kind of like tangled together.
Yeah, like they're the ones that they got tangled up in the other ones.
They're like a Rat King like
Yeah.
scenario where like they all got tangled up together, and so they just become one giant ball of Tangela.
Yeah, I like that. That seems. Let's do with that.
Let's get it going. Call me. I'll fix all your stuff. I'll even fix all your bad shinies. Come on, Pokemon Company, give me a call.
That's gonna be. I need that one day. Is like all the bad shinies because I feel like there are.
I would kill for a shiny rework. I would also kill for all the Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet to be like a foot bigger so that I could see them.
But maybe it's gonna be like you got the new Go update with like XX small or XX whatever large. Like you got them big, you got them small one.
Yes, please. Tangrowth is a grass type Pokemon. So was Tangela. I forgot to mention earlier. Mojumbo, also the Vine Pokemon, number 465. It ensnares prey by extending arms made of vines. Losing arms to predators does not trouble it. Its arms are made of plants that bind themselves to things. They grow back right away if cut. When it remains still, it appears to be a large shrub. I don't know who's confusing that with a large shrub. Unsuspecting prey that wanders near it get ensnared by its vines. So now it's a carnivore.
Yeah, I was gonna say now it looks scary.
Yeah. Its vines grow so profusely that in the warm season you can't even see its eyes, doesn't it? Its arms are made of plants that bind themselves to things. I already said that one. Tangrowth has 2 arms that can extend as it pleases. Yes, senpai.
Yeah, the arms just look like they're going to do really weird things with them.
Really weird hentai things. Recent research has shown that these arms are, in fact, bundles of vines. I bet they are. Vine growth is accelerated for Tangrowth living in warm climates. If the vines grow long, Tangrowth shortens them by tearing them off.
Imagine that. Like, I'm just going to rip my arms off.
Yeah. These my arms are kind of getting long. I mean, we cut our it must be like something similar like cutting your fingernail, right? Like draped with long vines, it resembles a shrub in appearance. It swings bundles of vines as though they were arms, wrapping them around prey to ensnare them.
Yeah, like so weird.
Shiny, green, good.
I like that. That's a good shiny.
Until the release of Platinum, the only way to obtain Tangrowth was to transfer a Tangela via Pal Park and evolve it. This was the only case in which a Generation 4 Pokemon was only obtainable through Pal Park.
I barely remember what Pal Park even is.
We'll just blowing past it.
Sure.
Final thoughts about or jokes about Tangela or Tangrowth. I always find that I always think of my best jokes after the episode's done and I'm editing them and go, shit. I just remember.
This is one that I think could have been in a Lola and got like an executor,
it would have been so good.
Yeah, like it's a different type, or like it's a different type. Like you could almost do different forms of this, of like leaves or different like the colors of the seasons, right? I do need a third evolution, but I think it would be just them to get, like you said, a Rat King, but that would be like a Tangela. Yeah, like it almost, you know what it looks to me? I bet the bottom of Tangela looks like the tail of Giraffaric or for like
no.
Like that's what I imagine is like that, like
what if it's just a wormy like execute egg?
What if it's just a guy?
What if it's just a guy that's pretending to be a Pokemon?
There's shoes and arms. Like it looks like a mascot for a really bad like a gas station. Like like behind like whatever. Like that's, you're like, oh hey, I became a Pokemon, I guess. Woo!
It looks like the Magic the Gathering card Mind Leech mask. Boy, that's a deep dig.
Oh man, yeah.
It could also be like the what do you call those guys from Halo? The massive worm guys. Hunters.
Oh yeah. It's been a minute for me with Halo.
They could also do like a different evolution where it becomes more angelic because of Tangela. Get it? Tangela? Okay, I'll shut up.
Tangela to me is like if it was like an orange, like then it would be just a like a tangerine.
I feel like this is also one of those Pokemon that if ever got a regional form or like a prehistoric version or something, it would be like what's the old version of vines? It would just be a crusty ball, like a crusty rock, before the vines started growing out.
Yeah, like this one.
They made Voltorb a fucking seed bomb.
I forgot about that. That too. Like, so what would be the old form of this? Like, what's the old form of like plants? Like, or like I would like if something bloomed on it. That would be cool, right? Like if flowers popped up and they did like I saw a fan thing that was cool that it got spikes because like actually you know what what's the new grass or the new grass gym leader that like he's not just all about grass grass.
Oh, yeah, he's got a literal vine whip.
Yeah, and I think that would look good. Like think of that on Tangrowth and Tang. Like that
I really
would be
like your idea of like the flowers like blooming in between its like massive tentacles. I think that'd be really cute. Like, and they could form like a flower crown of sorts. Very
yeah,
big
like that could be
arm.
like a good like even if you did like a sand version where it got like red ish or with that, but yeah, like it does. It's a classic. You can't mess with Tangela. It's a classic.
Yeah,
Voltorb is a seed.
Voltorb is a seed bomb. Tangela's a tentacle bomb. Yeah, I can't wait to Google this later and look up all. I mean, I'm not gonna look up the hentai of this. That would be disturbing if I did that. But I'm sure I'll accidentally come across it while I'm editing this episode. Hang on a second.
You just have that random stuff pop up.
I gotta pull my pants back up. Hang on one second.
Oh my goodness.
And folks, that's gonna do it for us here on Pokemon After DARKRAI. My name's Bret. You can follow us on Twitter at After DARKRAI. Check us out on patreon.com/poddog, baby. And Instagram at InstaPodDog. Lane, you care to tell the people one more time where they can find you, follow you, to work, to home, to the grocery store, to bed? Where do you want it? Where do you want them?
Well, where you're following me everywhere, as long as you can listen, I'm every Monday through Friday weekday show, 5:30 a.m. Eastern. You can find me Good Morning Johto wherever you listen to podcasts. And then also on Twitter, you can find me at GM Johto. Talk a little more about news and different things.
Fantastic. And real quick before we go, do you mind checking this growth I have on my shoulder?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just rip it off. It'll be fine.
Oh God, it's got tentacles. Hang on, I can film a video about this and make some money.
That's how real people became into Tangela. Is like it's like a Last of Us, like the infection.
The Tangela of Us. It's a look out, Joel. That Tangela is coming for you. The Tangela of Us. Oh, that's the name of this episode.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
That's perfect. Oh, and help me out with this. Gracie's not here. After you contract the Tangela seps fungus on your zombie brain.
Yeah.
DARKRAI will
make you go insane. I'm like Dr. Seuss. I don't know what to do.
Perfect. Oh man, what a show!
That's a lot. Well, that's why because I've been listening to like your guys lately, and they've been like an hour ish. Like this one's gonna be a long one. This one's a long one.
Well, we had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, and also I think you, me, and like we could all just talk forever.
Like no one's listened to this point. And if they did, they would and if they listened to like right after this part, they would hear all the squishy, sticky tentacle hentai noises. I'm gonna screen share because we're gonna watch that Tangela hentai.
That's what we're gonna go do now is watch that.
Right while we pitch, work on our pitch for the Tangela the Tangela of Us.
The Tangela of Us. Yeah, and like the big version could be the Tangrowth, right? Like that's
the Tangelast of Us.
That would be it. I think it could work. I really think it could work.
I think it could too. I think we got a spinoff, baby.